Hello, Watem here, and welcome back to some more Higurashi When They Cry. Let's continue. Yeah. What does this mean?
こんなのが最後の古出家の巫女だとはね。お社様が心を安らかにできないのがよくわかるよ。
And Chion, you're not asking the important question.
お社様をお祭りする古出家の人間でありながら。
We've already established she is.
嘆かわしい。
ミーが何を怒っているのか、僕にはよくわからないのですよ。
I realized. She was in a position to know as much as the other two family heads. As proof, she talked about this year's incident as though it was nothing. Yet she could feign ignorance with a serious face. She sure is something. She's even better than me. I slapped her a few times and pushed her to the floor. Shion. Rika, having tumbled downward, looked up at me with tears in her eyes.
そもそもあんたが西宮殿の鍵が重いから簡単なものに付け替えたいって言い出したのが事の発端なんだよね。
そうですよ。硬くて僕では大変だったので、君吉に相談して簡単な鍵に付け替えてもらったのです。
あんたがその程度の手間を惜しまず頑丈な世情をそのまま残していたなら西宮殿への侵入を許さなかったかもしれない。今回の一件はあんたにも責任の一端があるんだからね。それを忘れない方がいいよ。もちろんあんたと一緒に鍵を付け替えた君吉家当主にも責任があるんだけどね。
That last part was something I added on a whim. I added it to connect Rika's story to the disappearance of Kimiyoshi. I wanted to pressure her psychologically by doing so.
君吉家当主はけじめをつけてもらうことになった。だから消えた。古出家当主にもけじめをつけてもらうことになるよ。
Rika was still on the floor, tears pouring down her cheeks.
あと残ってるのは前原圭一だけ。こいつは古出家の方で頼むことにする。
僕は何もわかんないのですよ。
別にあんたはわかんなくてもいいでしょ。憂慮したり困った顔をするだけでいいんだから。それはうちも同じ。とにかく頼んどくよ。
そんなの。
Rika hung her head. She seemed to want to say something, but she was afraid that I might be rough with her again. I doubted Rika Furude was actually at the top of the curse system, like the hag was. However, as one of the three family heads, she was a lot closer to the underside of Hinamizawa than I was. By now, that underside was well aware of Keiichi Maibara. I told the elderly leaders of the village yesterday in the meeting that Keiichi Maibara was the last one remaining. I just told the head of the Furude family the same thing, if threateningly. If my threat was effective, the curse of Oyashiro-sama should very soon fall upon Keiichi Maibara. But at just the right time, I grabbed my enemy right as he took my bait. If the assassin came from the Furude family, this girl would have committed the same sin as the hag. When that time came, I wouldn't hold back. I was going to make sure she suffered, and then kill her. I'd heard of the torture technique where you pound dozens of nails into a victim's fingers. I'd already found a restraining table and the tools for it. When the time comes, I'll pound nails into your fingers. That gruesome anticipation radiated from my eyes and scared Rika even further. Shion. I wonder how Kimiyoshi is doing. I doubt he died from tiptoeing all night, but sometimes a human can go very easily. He already told me everything I wanted to hear, and he doesn't know anything else anyway. On top of that, he was responsible for spreading the infection that was the cursed system of Oyashiro-sama. His sins are very heavy. I really liked Uncle Kimiyoshi. He'd always been kind. The hag was so tough on her relatives, and that's why he was extra nice to me. When we talked yesterday, I was so happy to hear him say he would forgive Shion. He even said he would fight the hag to save her. That made me very happy. Don't worry. If Shion-chan feels bad about what she's done, she won't be deemed away. Leave it to me. I felt such warmth inside of me. I almost shivered. I was so happy, yet so very sad. For he continued to say, the Satoshi-kun deserved to die. He said those nice things because he wanted to make me unhappy, since she was worried about Shion. Satoshi-kun deserved to die because he was a member of the cursed Hojo family, but Shion-chan of the Sonozaki family did not. That's what he meant. In other words, to the leaders of the village, including Kimiyoshi, members of the Hojo family are more contemptible than insects. They didn't care if they lived or died. Their sin was not only that they despised the Hojo family so, but also that they let that hatred infect the rest of the village. Therefore, everyone in the village deserves to be a victim of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Kimiyoshi and the others created an environment that excused murder in that name. If that was so, Takano-san and Tomitaka-san hadn't committed the serious crime of trespassing in the ritual storehouse, and Satoko Hojo, the last survivor of the Hojo family, and Teppei Hojo, who has been hiding in Nokonomiya, might have been the victims. Don't think so. Satoko Hojo. She was always around Satoshi-kun. Perhaps. What if perhaps Rika had thought the same thing, and so that's why she became close friends with Satoko, so she could use her to gain information about her, the whole thing, and her own deaths. She expected Satoshi-kun to help her every time she cried. She was one of the people who cornered him. If Satoko wasn't that much of a burden, Satoshi-kun wouldn't have killed his aunt. But by this point in time, Satoko is kind of under the protection of Rika. Somebody told Satoshi-kun to commit that murder. And to hide the evidence of his connection to the mastermind, Satoshi-kun was demoned away. That's what Oishi thought. If Satoshi-kun hadn't killed his aunt, maybe he wouldn't have been chosen as last year's victim. Because the commands are vague, after all. The curse of Oyashiro-sama fell upon the Hojo family as a whole. It didn't matter which member of the family died. His aunt had a terrible reputation in the neighborhood. She didn't communicate with her neighbors. She was always throwing fits, and there was nothing nice about her in any way. Even if Satoshi-kun didn't kill her, the curse would have fallen upon her sooner or later. Their aunt was the first victim. There needed to be another Hojo to calm the curse. According to a rumor, Their uncle was living somewhere in Okonomiya with his lover. However, Okonomiya was a little different from Hinamizawa. The Sonozaki family was powerful there as well, of course, but would have been more difficult in Okonomiya to demon someone away. So naturally, Satoshi-kun and Sadako, who were still in Hinamizawa, became the targets. Which one should be cursed? That was simple. Sadako, of course. She was snobby and lacking in manners. Everyone in the neighborhood liked Satoshi-kun, even if he was the son of a Hojo couple who betrayed the village during the dam conflict. Compared to Sadako, he didn't deserve to die. Therefore, the actual victims of last year's curse should have been his aunt and Sadako. Satoshi-kun was suddenly all alone. What if rather than Oyashiro-sama's curse, it's something else? Something else entirely. Oyashiro-sama was trying to protect them or something, maybe? I don't know. His mean aunt and mean uncle were gone. His sister, who was a burden to him all his life, was gone too. Satoshi-kun was such a nice person. He would be sad, although he'd realized he was finally free. But time would heal him. I'd even help. He didn't have to live in his house in Hinamizawa. There were plenty of empty rooms in the apartment block where I lived. I could find him a part-time job too. He didn't need to go to school in Hinamizawa. He could go to school with me in Okonomiya instead. And then maybe Shion would actually show up to classes. Yeah, he wouldn't know his way around, or really anything about the school there. So I'd be with Satoshi-kun all the time. I'd show him a shortcut to school, we'd go shopping, and I'd teach him many different things. What an unbelievably happy ending. Aww. Right as we come up to the most distant part of the song, Satoshi-kun had been suffering so much that I'd been pushed away all my life. But we would finally be happy. No. I enjoyed these sweet delusions, but I didn't have any more time to waste. I was sure there were plenty of old people who had been trying to get hold of Oryu all morning, and who were going to try to catch me after I got home from school. Actually, the phone had been ringing constantly while I enjoyed my happy thoughts. When I answered the phone, I casually listened and replied. As I planned, Keiichi Maibara is now known as the next curse victim within the underside of Hinamizawa. I also tried to let them know that the disappearance of the village chief had something to do with the fact that he changed the lock on the ritual storehouse's door. All the authorities on the underside came to realize the seriousness of trespassing in the storehouse. After all, one of the heads of the three families got punished. One of the phone calls was from Oishi. He had also heard about Kimiyoshi's disappearance, and he knew it had something to do with the changing of the lock. I'm impressed. He has some pretty good sources. But all he can do is catch whatever information he can get. There's no way for him to find out where it's coming from. I'd call Keiichi Maibara again later tonight. Some of the more aggressive villagers may have already started to take action around him. I'm sure that by now, Keiichi is feeling the danger that's coming towards him. I'd have to be careful that he doesn't get killed easily. Was it in the second chapter that he almost gets run over or something? And at what point in time did that happen as well? If I can catch the enemy before they bit Keiichi, I can use him again as bait. Keiichi Maibara, one who's always everyone's bait. I haven't known him for that long. He's funny, if not intelligent. He'll never replace Satoshi-kun, but I do think he's fun to be around. There's just one thing I don't like about him. He rubs my head far too often. His hand is as warm as Satoshi-kun's hand, which is why I can't stand it. But that's about it. Keiichi Maibara isn't Satoshi-kun's enemy. I don't hate him. He's fun to be around. But I wouldn't shed a tear for him if he became a victim of the curse. I won't prevent Keiichi Maibara from being killed, but I won't kill him myself either. I'd made arrangements for the curse to fall upon him, but I never told anyone to kill him. Well, I suppose I did tell Rika Furude to take care of Keiichi Maibara. Wait a minute. To avenge Satoshi-kun, I'm doing the exact same thing as the hag did. I'm using the exact same system that killed Satoshi-kun. Keiichi Maibara. I'm just using him. I told people to let the curse fall upon Keiichi, but I've been giving him appropriate warnings. I'm going to help him if he tries to live. If I catch all of my enemies, maybe I'll let him loose. He's different from Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun was tricked into killing his aunt, and was killed himself afterwards, so there wouldn't be any evidence remaining. I won't kill Keiichi Maibara. That's how I'm different from the hag. Evening was turning to night. I had to get dinner ready. I had to eat so I'd have enough strength to take revenge. This place was far from town. It would even get isolated during winter because of the snow. It's not unusual for a household like this to have 2 or 3 refrigerators. There were plenty of groceries left in them. Now why is she out here? Because I'm pretty sure this is the same place as the 4th chapter. I was glad I didn't have to go grocery shopping. I could hear the chorus of the Higurashi. Ah, that's why she's there, so that she doesn't have to go grocery shopping. I see. People often say that the sound of a Higurashi brings back memories. But for me, it's the exact opposite. I've only ever heard the sound of Higurashi in Hinamizawa. Therefore, the sound of Higurashi, to me, is Hinamizawa. The sound reminded me that I wasn't supposed to be here, that I couldn't be here. That's when I heard the doorbell. Because there was a good distance between the house and the gate, there was both a doorbell and an intercom by the latter. Oh, so I'm guessing this isn't actually the same place as Chapter 4. Maybe it's just similar, or we're using assets or something. But I'm guessing then that this is when Rika comes to visit. It had a security camera too. Something as modern as a security camera monitor in the old-fashioned kitchen looked rather strange. I turned the switch, but nothing appeared on the monitor. I tried to check the plug, but there were a bunch of cords going behind the refrigerator, so I couldn't even do that. The doorbell continued to ring while I tried to figure out if the monitor was broken or if I just didn't know how to turn it on. I only felt like answering the door depending on who it was. It would normally be easier to pretend to be out, but that wouldn't help me. I was waiting for my enemies to show up. I couldn't just hide myself in that case. The hag was supposed to be sick and in an extremely bad mood. I'd already sent word out that she didn't want to see anyone. So who could it be? I made up my mind and turned the intercom on. If it was someone unwanted, I could just turn whoever it was away. But I had to act normally so I wouldn't arouse suspicion. I had to act normally.
はい。どちら様でしょう？
こんにちはなのです。
She didn't tell me her name, but I recognized her voice.
リカちゃんか。どうしたの？こんな時間に。
At this time of day specifically. Okay, I had to pause the recording there for a moment. Hopefully that doesn't cause the same problems as it did for my Crusader Kings video. Let's continue.
実は、お醤油を分けてもらいに来たのですよ。
Soy sauce? I almost screamed, but I controlled myself. I took a moment to think about the situation. Hinamizawa was far from most stores, so sometimes neighbors would share seasoning and stuff with each other. The village sometimes got snowed in during the winter. But the Furude shrine was quite far from this house. It was rather odd for her to come all the way here on her bicycle just to get some soy sauce. Maybe she was using it as an excuse. Maybe there was something she wanted to talk to me about. That was when I noticed a piece of paper that was on the refrigerator door next to the intercom. We still have plenty of homemade soy sauce in stock. Feel free to come to the Sonozaki house if you want some. The hag must have given that flyer to everyone. One of our relatives sent her a barrel of soy sauce. If you want some, bring a container. That's what the flyer said. I see. This would explain it. There was a handwritten note on the bottom of the flyer. The soy sauce is in the storage area under the floor. Give them as much as they want. There was a storage area beneath the floor. When I opened it, I saw a barrel of soy sauce alongside a funnel and a ladle. Or a ladle, depending on who you are and how you want to say it. I didn't want Rika to notice anything suspicious at this point. I decided to share the soy sauce with her.
いいよ。入れるものは持ってきてるの？
お醤油の瓶を持ってきましたのです。
オッケー。勝手に入ってきていいよ。玄関で待ってる。
As I headed there, I heard the doorbell ring again.
みー、内側から閉まってて、門が入れないのですよ。
ああ、そうだった。ごめん。今開けに行くよ。待ってて。
People didn't pay much attention to safety around here in Hinamizawa. People didn't think too much about locking the doors. But as someone who's lived in a town, I've always locked everything. To let Rika Furude in, I'd have to go outside.
こんばんはなのですよ。
こんばんは。
Rika smiled at me. She was holding a huge soy sauce bottle. She acted like I never yelled at her, got violent with her, or made her cry at all today. Or perhaps she came to curry favor, thinking that she angered me. I invited Rika to the front door. I told her to wait for a moment and tried to take the bottle. But Rika took her shoes off and walked into the house with the bottle in her hands.
いいよ。私が入れてくるから待ってなよ。
僕も、上後でお醤油入れるのは上手になったのですよ。
She looked at me as if begging. I guess she wanted to pour the soy sauce into the bottle herself. I didn't want her to come into the house, but I suppose I didn't want her to wait there alone either. If she came to the kitchen with me, I could keep my eyes on her. And so I brought Rika to the kitchen. We walked down the hallway. I only heard my footsteps. I stopped suddenly and turned around to make sure Rika was following me. Rika bumped into me.
ああ、ごめん。
I made sure she was right behind me and started to walk again. Tap, tap, tap. Tip, tip, tip. Tap, tap. Tip, tip. Rika must have been having fun matching her footsteps to mine. Even when I quickly sped up, our footsteps matched perfectly. Tap, 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 tap. Tip, 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 tip. Tap, tap, tap. I stopped suddenly. Tip, tip, tip. Tip. Rika stopped suddenly too, after taking an extra step. No, I'm not saying anything, but that does sound awfully suspicious there, Rika. When I turned around, Rika smiled at me. Our footsteps matched perfectly, and when I stopped suddenly, I heard her extra step. I've experienced such footsteps before. It was making me feel uncomfortable. But now, although her footsteps sounded the same as the other ones I'd experienced, I saw her when I turned around. That was the difference between them. I left the storage door open so we could see the soy sauce barrel. Meme said she can take as much as she wants, but I wasn't sure there was enough left. Crouched down and tried to open the lid of the soy sauce barrel. Even when I crouched down, I could hear Rika's extra step.
まだまだいっぱいあるよ。ほら、好きなだけ持ってくといい。
That smile. When I turned around, Rika was very close to me. But, Who was this? I saw Rika, but it wasn't Rika at all. It was like when I switched with my sister. The outside was the same, but the inside was different. Did Rika have a twin sister? I was confused for a moment. That was when Rika sprayed something from a small bottle into my eyes. I felt a terrible pain in my eyes, and suddenly tears poured out and my nose started to run. I couldn't stop sneezing either. As I stumbled around, covering my face, I then realized I was attacked. I shut my eyes tightly for a moment, then opened them again. So, Rika behind, making her into a demon-ish? Alternatively, or of another note, she was discovered in either the first chapter or the second, I think it was the second chapter, with a broken file of something. Maybe it was the third chapter of one of them. I shut my eyes tightly for a moment and opened them again. Rika was about to grab my hair and drag me down onto the floor. When Rika saw me open my eyes, she sprayed at me again. I shut my eyes to avoid the spray, but my nose still breathed in the substance. So yeah, anyway, the point I was trying to make was perhaps she has a lot of chemical stuffs. I avoided the pain in my eyes, but the tears, the runny nose, and the sneezing continued. Shit. My brain isn't working quickly enough. However, when I finally understood that I had been attacked by Rika Furude, my brain started to grind into motion. Rika Furude knocked me on my back and got on top of me. I tried to escape from her by rolling on the kitchen floor. As I rolled, I hit an oven, a huge jar, and destroyed a pile of something on the floor as I fought back. But Rika didn't let go of me. She stayed on top and restrained me. She was sitting on my stomach, and I felt intense pain and pressure. She sure could fight well. I still couldn't see anything. Rika had the upper hand. My eyes were shut, and I was in real danger. As I tried to blink, I saw Rika's expression. I didn't know Rika Furude all that well. I only knew her from the few times we met when I went to school with Mion, and from the things I'd heard from other people. Yeah, that's right. It was the second chapter that she was discovered with the vial in her pocket. Pretty sure. And I think I theorized back then as well that Rika went to try to kill Mion or something, but failed. Yeah, things I've heard from other people. But as far as I knew, there was no way Rika Furude would ever do something like this. This was just impossible. 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 No, I can't fill my head with that word. I have to calm down and figure out what to do next. Shit, I'm too much of a mess to even think. I tried to peek at her face again. She still had the spray bottle in one hand. What I didn't expect was the thing in her other hand. How could I mistake it for anything else? A syringe? It was definitely a syringe. When Rika realized I regained my eyesight, She pointed a spray bottle right at me and let loose with it. I shut my eyes tightly and tried to ignore the pain. Oh, I don't want to end it here, right in the middle of all this. That was when, even though I was blinded, Rika made a miscalculation. She sprayed at me from such a close distance that she inhaled the substance as well. I heard Rika sneeze, and realized that it was my chance. Even if I couldn't see, I knew she was right there. I hit Rika's face a few times. When I felt Rika's weight shift, I escaped. Okay, I'll leave it here for today. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And until next time, see ya!